this is Päivi, an artist and art teacher from Finland, and this time I want to talk about getting inspired of your art. Because, you know, often we browse on Pinterest, Instagram, collect all kinds of images, watch YouTube videos, do all that stuff to get inspired to create. But actually the inspiration is often much closer than we think. And this time I want to show you how I've created this image, this collage made from my hand drawings, and how I've got inspiration from the previous 4 to 5 years. All the things that I've created during the years, there's some pieces that really resonate with me now, and that didn't feel like my best pieces back then when I was creating. Let's first travel back to year 2014, and back then I had several of these kind of small art journals, and I made a lot of small pages, all kinds of small colorful stuff, and I was practicing by doodling, and this felt like some kind of, how would I say, these didn't feel very valuable books back then. They were just kind of place where to record ideas, and sometimes I wrote something, but often I just painted or drew colorful images. But now when I look at that, there are a few pieces that really come up. This is a small piece that I quite like. I like the colors, and it speaks to me. And very similar to this one is this picker piece that I made back then called Folk Leaves. I was inspired by folk art and all the richness of colors and motifs that can be found there. And back then I was so pleased with this piece that I also printed it on fabric, and I made a quilt of it. So this is digitally printed fabric, and then I've stitched it just by hand, and it's made of by scanning this photo and getting it printed at Spoonflower. Then let's go to year 2015, and back then I had this kind of huge album. This is actually a scrapbooking album, but my pages are not scrapbook pages, they are paintings and collage pieces and all that. And it's full of pages, and yeah, I was practicing, and probably you recognize some, like my watercolor piece that I've made on a video and such. I've also created some digitally using Photoshop and then printing that on a photo paper. But many of these are mixed media collage pieces, and when I talk about collages, I usually create all my collage pieces myself. I don't cut them out from magazines or something. So these are mostly just paintings or collages, and of these, this piece really speaks to me now. It's called Russian Still Life, and I love the colors, but I also love the surreal feel that it has. And if you compare these two, they're a bit different. I feel that this piece is kind of looser, but I wanted to make collage pieces inspired by these, and for this work I made some leaves. Leaves how I want them nowadays to be, the style that I want them to be, a bit more detailed, a bit more luxurious. examined the shapes and colors of this piece, and I made this flower. Let's go to year 2016, and at that time my small art journals, like this Moleskine one, changed to much bigger ones. So these are Dilutions. This is Dilutions Creative Journal, and I have some flip through videos of these, and I like the size, and I often have used the whole spread for the image so that I can get more room. And this one, called The Chain of Generations, really speaks to me nowadays. I love the space that is there. It's looks kind of sacred place, and I like the setting and how it also plays with the scale. So there's a small collage piece over there, and yeah, I like it. So what I did was that I made the background inspired by that piece, and I make kind of decorative space there in the background. Let's travel to year 2017, and then I realized that making these bigger pieces in Dilutions art journals, actually the way the spread is there, the division of the two pages, it somehow breaks the image. So I bought a bigger sketchbook for that. This piece still resonates with me from that time. So I love the atmosphere, and I like the colors, and I kind of see, if I compare these two, I kind of see that there's very similar colors, very similar richness, but the expression is so much looser after all that practicing. What I really like of this piece, a single detail, because often when there are pieces that are not perfect, there are some details that can be really beautiful. And I just love this. I just love the way the hair goes like that. So I made a collage piece, this piece, which looks like roots for the flower. And then let's travel to 2018, last year. I had a class called Watercolor Journey, which is still available on my website if you want to study it. And it's about watercolor painting landscape and sceneries and memories, and mixing all those and adding a bit of imagination there too. I recorded my ideas in this kind of small Moleskine watercolor journal, and it's full of these kind of landscapes where I practiced the techniques and explored watercolors and what can be made with them. And I also have a YouTube video about this, Keeping a Watercolor Diary was the title, if I remember correctly. And back then, during that class and before that class, I made several big pieces too, and this is one of the pieces that I create in the class. So if you buy the class, you also get the video, instructional video, how I've created this and how you can follow the techniques and create yours. And the idea was a kind of sacred place. And here I wanted to express 3 churches of St. Petersburg, Russia that I visited a few years ago, and I wanted to show the churches in a playful way, like they would be some kind of humans and they would dance there in the scene. And I really like the looseness and playfulness of this painting, considering the topic and how it's dealt here. So I really like this one, and I made a small collage piece, this piece here. And then this year, 2019, you know, last year was groundbreaking to me, because in the end of the year, I found my love for ink pens, and I've made several of these kind of ink drawings, and I just love this media, ink pens, and I also love to add color with the pens. So all these collage elements have been drawn with Copic multiliners, and then I've used colored pencils to color them. And of course I wanted to include something from this year too. And I have these kind of boxes. You see that green box over there with the colorful cover, and then this little box that are filled with collage pieces that I've hand drawn, and these are so much fun to make, and I wanted to pick one piece from this box so that I have the year 2019 here too. I picked this bird. Then I picked all these pieces and glued them down to make a collage. Made some adjustments, added some shadows and such the pieces so that it's balanced. But yeah, that's how I created this piece. We need imagination and we need art to cope with our boring, mundane life and all the struggles that we get. We need imagination to rewrite and reimagine and recreate all the things that have happened to us, and to have the safe place where we can explore freely. There's a saying that there's a place of uncertainty, and that place of uncertainty is the place where you really create art. When we think that we haven't found our style, or we haven't found our artistic direction, or we should do only one thing or such, I want to break that myth in the way that when you're creating, you are on that road. And you just have to embrace that road, embrace your ideas, and browse and look what really speaks to you in your work too. Not just browse Instagram, Pinterest and such. That's why I find drawing these small collage pieces so inspirational, because when I find something inspiring, or when I have just a little bit of time, I draw one collage piece, and I try not to put too much pressure how great it should look, or where it should go, or how should I share it, or do you like it or not, or do I like it or not. I try to let go of all those expectations and just draw a small collage piece and trust that it will find its way to my art somehow. And now when I look back all these things that I've done, I also see the connection of these with these small collage pieces, and also see these as treasure chests, so that I could make so many little collage pieces out of these and somehow continue that journey, continue that creative production, and also sometimes make bigger pieces that connect all these ideas too. And currently I have a class called Animal Inkdom, where we draw animals and all kinds of fun decorations and combine them in small collage pieces or bigger drawings or bigger collage work, whatever you want. I have different kind of projects for every lesson, and I've divided the animals in 5 groups, so that we first started with insects, then now we're drawing birds, and then in the next lesson we will be drawing fishes and sea life, and in the 4th module we'll be drawing furry animals like foxes, wolves, wild cats, rabbits, squirrels, all that kind of cute furry stuff. And in the last module we will be drawing elephants, llamas, sheep, all that, zebras. In every module we also explore other topics that can be combined with these animals, not just try to get the anatomy correct, because I also show simple tips for that, but the main idea is to let the animal and decorations and all that get together and yeah, create pieces that combine them all. Because many times I think that creativity is a skill of combining, not so much a skill of inventing. And there's a lots of stuff to combine if you look at your art that you have created so far. And if you haven't created much, then it's time to start building your box of joy, box of small collage pieces that you can then start to grow and see how they could be part of bigger pieces as well. If you're interested, I hope you join the class. You can still join, and there's still time to catch up, and because you get the membership for my art community Bloom and Fly for the whole year, there's the whole year to draw and share with the other members. If you're interested in this piece, it's also for sale in my art store.